is the new meld cards, and also like how coverage handles it, because it's gonna look real weird if someone just keeps taking cards out to put them together.
Huh. Yeah. I'm curious to see how it's going to be like in real life too.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. Are you to share screen so we can see, or should I just pull up the? Yeah.
Yeah, the stream is a little lag.
Just a little bit.
Oh, there you go. That's much better.
Whew. Man, Danny always has these really good hands that just need like 6 more cards.
All right, so
did Joe just start off with a wasteland? That seems I mean, I guess it seems like okay. His hand seems a little weak here, but Danny's missing a ton of land drops, which is obviously not good. Although it seems that he does have a lot of time against Joe's deck.
I mean, Danny's hand looks fine here. Like,
yeah,
a Cabal Therapy would make this hand a lot better, but.
Yeah, I do like the now that he has a Marsh Flats, I'm probably gonna go for a Bayou here so you can cast Thoughtseize and Oath of Nissa, and that's gonna be really nice to start trying to pull ahead here. Joe does have a Mox Diamond, which is fine to kind of fix his mana, but he still needs at least one more mana source to kind of pull ahead and really cast anything in his hand.
Right, start doing things.
Yeah, like Force of Will is obviously nice to protect him from one of these Planeswalkers, but it's not going to do much against some of the other ones here. And Misty Rainforest, found by Danny, is going to be really good at helping him get ahead. Ooh, a basic Swamp here by
Joe.
By Joe is going to be really nice. Unfortunately, not going to be very helpful in casting
the double blue.
Yeah. And this is definitely one of the problems with, a deck like Joe's, where he just has like a ton of Ancient Tombs and lands like that is going to be kind of hard to cast some of these double casting cards.
Then he just drew Cabal Therapy.
Whew.
That's all right. That's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Do you think Joe? Oh, he's gonna start with a Thoughtseize. All right, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Thoughtseize seems significantly better. If Joe wants to respond, if Joe doesn't respond, he gets to actually shred Joe's entire hand here without giving away any information. I don't think Joe can force this Thoughtseize. Yeah, and he doesn't. And he's going to end up losing his entire hand here. Although a Sword of the Meek off the top, I think, would be pretty devastating.
Oh no, then he still has the Abrupt Decay in his hand, so.
Certainly true.
Yeah, I think Denny's looking really good at this game now. Like,
yeah,
not trying to state the obvious, but.
Yeah. Definitely pretty far ahead. Just talking about like what Joe's really looking for, in this next turn.
I think Joe would be very happy to find a Tezzerator next turn.
Oh, Tezzerator would be great.
Because then he doesn't have any way to put pressure on Tezzerator the way the board stands right now.
Yeah.
If
you're Danny, what Planeswalker do you think you'd lead off with here?
I think you have to go with Garrick, right?
Well, and its Staring Bridge here is not going to be that good.
No, not against a Planeswalker deck.
No, but Abrupt Decay here is going to be pretty okay at taking out something. I wonder here if Danny's going to. Oh, Danny's just going to pass here without using. Yeah, I thought Danny was going to use the Cabal Therapy to try to ramp himself up.
I mean, maybe he's a little afraid to give Joe lands.
Oh, I guess his plan was just to end step Decay, but I feel like he could have done that either way.
All right, so I guess he was hoping to draw land, but I don't think he can just wait for too long. All right, there you go. He's finally doing it.
Yeah, I think Danny's best course of winning this game is just play Narset, Ultimate Narset, and lock Joe out from playing any of his spells. I think the earlier he plays Narset, the better off he's going to be. Hoping he doesn't wait too long for Joe to draw a Tez.
I was just looking at chat. Mike just asked, "What does he name with Cabal Therapy?"
Oh, I think I think Abandoned Hope is too cute. I think we can do better.
Danny's actually okay. Oh, he's yeah. I
Ooh,
guess he's
maybe Drown in Sorrow. That wouldn't be a terrible name with Cabal Therapy.
uh, sorrow. Oh yeah, it looks like he's doing what you said. Like he's gonna go for the Narset. Okay, so he's just clicking the first thing.
That's weak. That's weak. He named Sarpedian in Empires Volume 3. That seems very weak. I think we could have done better.
Thought so too. All right, so Joe. Oh, let's see when he's upkeep. All right, he drew a Baleful Strix. That's not too terrible.
No,
But
unfortunately, it's gonna go farming pretty soon.
yeah, he's just gonna go. Yeah, very nice that he can. Well, he can't guess right now actually.
With Mox Diamond, I think unfortunately, Joe's gonna have to end up using this fire to kind of keep Narset down while he's looking for a Tezzeret or a Thopter Sword to kind of fight through this Narset.
Right. Oh man, he just drew an Elspeth too.
Whew. And one land away from being able to cast this Elspeth. Unfortunately, Elspeth not very good against the Ensnaring Bridge.
That is true.
I actually think Danny made a slight misstep here. With Brainstorm in hand, I think Danny could have actually plussed his Brainstorm, put a non-creature spell back on top, and then drawn an extra card with Narset.
And then play Narset. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Well, it's kind of hard when your deck's so sweet. I think it's kind of hard sometimes to make the right play when you can just try to get all the free value.
Maybe he saw like how ahead in the game he is. He probably didn't even think about it. He just did things.
Yeah.
All right. So
do we know what kind of big any cool creatures that Danny's going to have here? Because if Danny has any sweet creatures, he can use Garrick to fight one of the Elspeth tokens.
I don't think he has a creature.
Yeah, just no creatures. Garrick's just 2/2 pumping machine.
He's got Glenn and Lundra. He's got one of.
Okay, that actually might be okay. Like depending on at what ends up happening in a match, like fighting an Elspeth token to flip your Garrick and then use it to go get Glenelendra might end up being really good here. But Joe's just going to pack it in. He's not really going to be able to beat Narset. And
no cards in hand and 2 Planeswalker on the other side of the board. That's too much. So then he sideboarded real quick. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't really catch it. I think he boarded out some of the Innocent Bloods. So basically boarded out a lot of the creature hate here and probably boarded in more of his Planeswalker hate. We also might see Danny board in Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed going to be really good against just
all the artifacts.
Yeah. We see Joe. Joe has Kolaghan's Command and Gear for Aether Grid, which I actually like. As well.
So Joe looks like he set out one of his Trinity Spheres.
Yeah.
Looks like he also set out one of these Ensnaring Bridges. I think it might be his only Ensnaring Bridge actually.
Now Joe does have Chalice, but I don't really like Chalice that much in this matchup. Yeah, Danny has Brainstorm, Plow, Veteran Explorer, and Cabal Therapy, but I think the Planeswalkers matter more, and I'd kind of rather have Answers and Pressure. So I think cards like Lodestone Golem potentially might be a little better than some of the Chalices.
Well, I think Chalice on a play is fine. Just because I'm looking at Joe's sideboard, he doesn't really have too much stuff to bring in. But on the draw, definitely, I'll definitely side out I would side out the Chalices on the draw.
Yeah. It just overall just feels like a very weak card, and if Joe just doesn't end up with one in his opening hand, the power level of that card just goes significantly down.
Correct. Yeah, it's a fair point. And also, he's playing Abrupt Decays too, so he might not do anything.
Right. I do kind of like this hand though. Joe does have a turn. Potentially a turn 3 Tezzerator if he draws a black source.
Well, and again, Joe's at a hand that can't really cast all his spells.
Yeah, and this is definitely kind of the problem trying to play such a color-intensive deck with cards like Ancient Tomb and City of Traders. Mox Diamond does its best ideas to try and pull Joe's decks together color-wise, but sometimes you just kind of end up with a lot of these awkward draws here.
Right, and he's also playing he's playing a basic land. We saw Swamp. Also see that Synod is also another one that doesn't really help.
Yeah,
so
I was just gonna have to play Sword of the Meek and pass back to Danny, who just drew a Glenelendra Archmage, so his hand is looking really good. It looks like he also has a negate in his hand too.
Yep. So he's gonna be able to take, I guess, the Command. I guess. I think he'll take Command.
Over a Tezzeret.
Yeah. I mean, because he can't cast. Well, no, I'm sorry, he can't cast negate.
Yeah, he can't really cast either of them right now. I think Culligan's command mana is a little less than Tezzeret. I think eventually Joe's gonna draw a Black Source. I mean, we see he has Fetch Lands, Underground Seas, and a basic Swamp in his deck. So
Okay.
kind of wanna dodge. I think.
So you just take Tezzeret here.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
potentially with Garrick, you could potentially apply pressure at some point to the Tezzeret. So you don't want to like fight through one Tezzeret, just like have Joe slam another one and just be so far ahead at that point that it might be too hard to fight through.
Okay, seems like Danny agreed with you.
Yeah.
And he took the Tezzeret. Joe, all right, no, Joe did draw a Black Source.
Yeah.
I guess he's gonna be fetching an Underground Sea here.
Yeah. And Joe, and Danny here without any blue mana can't really cast any of the spells in his hand, and Joe's going to be able to cast this Tezzeret next turn.
That is true. So Joe's gonna fetch at the end of the turn. Yeah, he grabbed an Underground Sea. Oh, and a Mox. All right. So he can get rid of the.
Yeah, I do like Mox Diamond here as well. Worst comes to worst, Joe can also just play this Mox Diamond, ditch City of Traders, and then make this Mox Diamond a 5/5 and start attacking Danny.
Correct.
I don't actually hate that play. Veteran Explorer can't really.
Oh, he found the
Thopter
Foundry.
Ooh, Thopter Foundry is a really good draw here. The question is, does Joe think that Danny has Abrupt Decay?
I wouldn't run out right now. I think he's in a good spot right now. He doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, you kind of like wait until the next turn when Joe has access to a bunch of mana. You can just kind of make a few tokens at the very minimum.
Right. Oh, well, lucky for Joe. Danny does not have it, and he doesn't have anything right now, actually.
Yeah.
So he's gonna swing into Tezzeret, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Deck fade in too.
Yeah, I think Joe actually might just win this game by plussing Tezzeret, making a bunch of Thopter tokens, and then
ultimating.
Yeah, and then just ultimating the Tezzeret after an attack. We'll see which Joe likes to take. We do know Joe likes to kind of play a little, kind of show his opponent that he has everything sometimes, as Miracles players are wont to do. So we'll see.
Oh, he found a Chalice now too. All right, so that shuts down the Brainstorm. I think Joe probably will play that. I mean, I don't know. Like, let's see.
I mean, I think if Joe does end up playing the Chalice, he might end up playing this Chalice either for 1 or for 0. But I don't know if he even really needs to at this point.
Probably not. Because the things that really matter are Cabal Therapies and Batterman Explorer.
Right, and if Danny wants a Cabal Therapy, he's more than fine getting the first one countered, in this scenario.
Correct. So, all right, looks like, I guess Joe's just going to make 4 Thopters at the end of the turn. Actually, the Thopters might just do it. Like,
yeah, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the next turn it's just going to be a lot more after that. So yeah, and this is a part of the reason that Thopter Foundry and Sword of the Meek is just such a powerful combo. Just being able to apply pressure and protect yourself at the same time is really nice here.
It is.
What's really interesting is Joe didn't use his Mox Diamond to make a 4th Thopter there. I gotta wonder if he was maybe playing around potential Surgical out of Danny there.
Huh. That is true. Yeah, he did it kind of quick. All right. So he just closed Tezzeret again. Yeah, Joe's just playing real safe, I guess.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, the only problem with playing too safe against a deck like Danny's is Danny is eventually going to be able to start casting a lot of these big threats, and even though Joe does have Thopters, I don't know how safe I feel sitting around and waiting for Thopters to win against everything.
Right.
Oh, good point. Surgical is shut off by Chalice.
Yeah,
so,
I just saw that.
Maybe Joe forgot that he has his own Chalice on 1.
That could very well be the truth. All right, so he's gonna. What is it? It's just making.
Beast Blade Chalice on 3.
It is. Right.
Okay, yeah. It looks like Chalice on 3 here actually isn't unreasonable. That's going to shut off
he was,
a Pernicious Deed.
Yeah. So he was worried about deeds there. All right. Well, let's see what Danny did because. Okay, so he did bring. It looks like 3 deeds, I guess.
And Pithy Needle here, which is going to be pretty solid. But it looks like, interestingly enough, Danny boarded out all of his Force of Wills here. It looks like since he's cutting down to so many of his blue cards in his main deck anyway, the Force of Wills is just kind of going to be, you know, pretty
We don't
bad.
have a card to pitch to it, yeah. Okay, it looks like Joe is not going to make any changes.
Yeah, I think Joe's just debating if he wants to add something in. I can't imagine that there's too much he wants to change here.
Right. The only card I can see in the sideboard right now is Crucible Worlds, but I don't know.
I don't think that's going to be great here.
Probably not.
Even if Joe Wastelands here, Danny has a bunch of basics here. But I kind of like Danny's opening hand here. He has an Oath of Nissa, a Negate, a Brainstorm, an Elspeth, and a Plains and a Tropical Island. It's going to be pretty solid at a good start here. And it looks like Joe mulliganed to 6.
His hand is really good now.
Yeah. Joe's looking at turn 2 Tezzerator.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the first hand that we see that he can actually cast all the spells in his hand. So
poor Tezzerator.
So he's gonna play Oath of Nissa first. Let's see what kind of Planeswalker he's gonna find. So he found a Gideon. All right.
Gideon's gonna be pretty good here. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Danny just play Tropical Island and pass on his turn 2.
So Joe, just to hold up the negate.
Right.
Yeah, he can just play Brainstorming in the turn, I guess.
Yeah, if he really needs to.
Right, so Joe didn't even want to play the Mox. So then he played a Trop.
Yeah, I think Danny's safest play here is to just pass. Knowing that Joe is playing cards like Mox Diamond and Ancient Tomb, there's just no reason to tap out.
Right.
And Joe's just hoping to draw a blue card here to protect him. He does.
Yeah, he got back fading. All right, so I guess Joe's just gonna go for it. I mean,
no reason not to.
Right.
Yeah.
Danny's gonna try to negate, and he's gonna get forced, and Joe's gonna be left with a Call Against Command and whatever artifact he finds from Tezzerator.
Yeah, and Danny here is gonna need some pressure pretty soon here, and it looks like his earliest play is gonna be a turn 3 or turn 4 Gideon here.
Right. Or the Venser, I guess, but I don't know if the Venser.
Venser Bowsing Tezzerator seems pretty mediocre at best, and a 4th land here is definitely really nice. That ensures that Danny's going to be able to cast this Gideon or this Venser.
Right, especially since he drew a fetch land too, makes his Brainstorm a lot better. I'm willing to say that he might just shuffle either Venser or Elspeth back.
Yeah, I think Danny here is really just hoping to dodge a Thopter Sword off the top from Joe. Yeah.
Okay, so he drew it. So he's gonna play Chelsea, and then I guess Danny's just gonna respond with a Brainstorm.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
What I think I'd really like to see, Dimir Signet into Chalice is still pretty good. Well, I think what I'd really like to see is Danny win this game with Venser, and because that would just be justice, just like beating Joe with that. Yeah, it looks like just a few lands off the top here for Danny means that Danny's just gonna kind of be able to just kind of draw a couple lands here, ensure that he has a bunch of land drops, but he doesn't really have any threats. But Gideon is going to apply a lot of pressure here on Tezzerator. And Gideon is really an interesting card, because even though we've kind of seen it be this standard powerhouse, we're starting to see it kind of move into Legacy as well. Like we've seen in Death and Taxes decks, some Miracles decks have played it in the sideboard. I believe one of the top 8 lists from GP Columbus had a Gideon Ally of Zendikar in the sideboard of the Miracles decks.
Yeah, well, when I was undefeated going to round 8 at the GP Columbus, and I lost to a Gideon. The guy was playing his Death and Taxes deck. It was the first time I've ever seen it. Totally caught me off guard.
Yeah, it's weird because it either makes a ton of blockers or it just kills your opponent in such a short time period. So it's really good at playing both defense and offense here. And right now, Danny needs some offense, and this is going to kind of do it for him.
Oh, hold on a second. Oh, okay. I thought for a second he was gonna click on Venser. All right,
Yeah.
so he played his Gideon. He's also got 6 mana to play his Elspeth eventually.
Yeah, I like this. The next couple of turns, Danny has Venser into Elspeth here. So if Joe doesn't find a Thopter Foundry with this Tezzerator plus, he could be in a bit of trouble here.
Okay, yeah, completely.
I wonder, actually, you know what we might see Joe do? We might see Joe kill the Night Ally, force Danny to discard, and then minus on Tezzeret to make one of his artifacts a 5/5, then kill
And just
Gideon.
go. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's about to do. So I guess it's gonna make him discard a card too. Okay, that's fair.
No creatures for Joe to get back, and nothing else to deal toe damage. But yeah, Joe's just gonna make a 5/5 here, get rid of this Gideon. And Venser is going to be okay at nailing that 5/5 or the Tezzeret. So I don't certainly mind Danny's position here, though. Although I bet he really wishes he could dodge the dodge this 5/5 attacking his Gideon.
Yeah, interesting though. Like he made the Mox a 5/5. I don't know. I think I would have made the Chalice a 5/5, but because you're probably eventually gonna want to tap for mana with the Mox, but.
Yep, I agree with that. You might want to use the Mox in the future here, and kind of can't do that at this point. Card off the top is certainly not great here, but it might be good in the future.
So Joe could also just make another 5/5 and swing for 10.
Right.
I don't know if he's too greedy. He probably just gonna plus it.
Yep, would not be surprised just to see Tez up here looking for a Thopter Foundry. Thopter Foundry is really going to help Joe kind of pull this game right in his direction. And it looks like Tezzerator missed.
All right, so now.
Yeah, I think I like just using Venser here to bounce this this Mox Diamond during the end step.
Yeah, and then land. Well, he can't play anything like Stern actually, unless he finds a land.
It's also possible that we might see Danny bounce his own Oath of Nissa as well to kind of rebuy and try and draw a land. Or
no, he can't. He can't because of a Chalice.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a good point. Looks like he's just bouncing Chalice.
Interesting.
I like this. In case Danny draws something like Pithy Needle.
Oh, all right. He drew 6 mana. All right, so now he's gonna play his Elspeth. And well, now it looks like Danny's turning the corner.
Yeah, Elspeth here is going to be a pretty big hassle for Joe to fight through, and Joe's desperately going to need to find a Thopter Foundry here to even attempt to put pressure on Elspeth.
Yeah. All right, so he's. Oh, he could also. All right, I thought he might
minus. No, if he minuses, he just loses Elspeth immediately.
Correct. Yeah.
I think Joe has to just play the Chalice or play make one of his artifacts there, 5/5,
and then kill the Elspeth too.
Yeah.
All right, so Joe draws Delpho Strix. It doesn't look very great now when you play against an army of tokens.
Yeah. Fortunately, flying is nice, and Joe can actually use this Baleful Strix as a 5/5 to put pressure on Elspeth. And Thopter Foundry off the top here is going to be really good at helping Joe kind of lock up this game.
He's still gonna play the Chalice first. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have played the Chalice on one. I think I would have just kind of wanted to make as many 1/1s as possible with Thopter Foundry.
Me too. I agree. So right now he only has access to making 3 Thopters. And if Danny finds a land off the top, then
this card.
Oh, all right. So he didn't. So he's gonna make more tokens.
Yeah, I think Danny has to keep pressuring this Tezzerator, so I think he has to attack with these soldier tokens.
Well.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If he doesn't try to pressure Tezzerator here, Danny is just going to lose to a Tezzerator ultimate.
To ultimate, yeah. All right, so Joe can stop 2 guys. Well, I mean, 3 of them. He can block the Venser on the Mox. And then one of the tokens. Yeah, so looks like Tezzerat's going to go down to 3.
And Joe's now going to be able to pressure this Tezzerator with a Thopter. and bring it down to 4. But Danny's at a point where he really needs to draw another land for Karn.
Right.
Never thought I'd say that.
At least not in Legacy.
Yeah, and I like this. During the end step, Joe's going to use Mox Diamond to create another Thopter here, although it's not going to do anything more than just gain Joe another life, since that Thopter already had damage marked on it.
Yeah, interesting, because the whole time here we're not even really paying attention to life totals, because I know both decks are trying to swing, but life totals are not super relevant in this game, actually.
Right. And I think now we're at a point where, unless Danny finds another land and another whiff off Tezzerator, it's gotta feel pretty bad here.
It's horrible. So Joe's looking at his graveyard, I guess.
Yeah, seeing if there's anything relevant with Academy Ruins, and just not seeing anything here.
No, this is gonna run Belfastrix.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see Joe attack the Thopter into Elspeth first before doing this, because now this mana either has to get rid of the sword, and he's only going to be able to attack Elspeth for 1, which is pretty much nothing.
That is true.
I wonder what he was looking for there in that spot. He drew another Tezzerator, but Tezzerator obviously is not going to be really relevant here. But yeah, now I think Joe's just going to have to use this floating mana to just make another Thopter.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing right now. Yeah, maybe he could have just tapped the Academy of Ruins if he wanted to. So he's going to swing an Elspeth for 1.
Yeah, I think also Academy of Ruins using Dimir Signet to cast Baleful is basically the same thing as well.
Right, since he doesn't have anything in the graveyard. All right, so we found a Jace. I don't know if Jace is usually pretty good, but I don't know if it's good in this spot.
I don't think it's going to be great here. I think Jace is going to really need to brainstorm into
Pernicious Deed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so Danny's gonna probably brainstorm here.
He needs to find land Pernicious Deed. Ooh.
Trying to Vindicate.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't really cast Vindicate here, and I think Danny might just be dead on board to this Tezzerator Ultimate.
Yeah, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
10, 11, 12. He can make 13
right.
after using Thopter Foundry.
Yeah, he can't really deal too much damage to Tezzerator right now.
Yeah, and Danny's going to go ahead and swing here, but this certainly feels futile.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, Joe's going to be able to make at least 3 more tokens. He just block all of Danny's creatures.
And it's really weird that not finding that 7th land is actually what might have lost Danny this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if he had the 7th land on the turn after Joe played Thopter Foundry, I think he would have a chance. Now, I was trying to remember when he brainstormed, I don't think he shuffled it away. I think he kept all the lands on top.
Yeah, I think he kept all the lands on top. No, he kept all but 1, because he kept his fetch land on top, so he fetched away an Underground Sea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be too much for Danny to overcome here.
Yeah. I think all Joe has to do is just swing with the Thopters and Ultimate Tezzerator. Yeah.
Yep, Ultimate Tezzerator here is going to go ahead and slaughter Danny, and we're going to see Joe take this match 2-1 over Danny. This is kind of an interesting, kind of a fun matchup.
None of those 2 decks are trying to combo out like really fast, like some of the other decks in the league are playing. So it was nice for like a change of pace. Like last week in the first week, like we saw some Joe turn 1 Chalice of the Void versus Caleb Tin Fins, and there was not much of a match.
No,
but this match was very interactive. Like we saw that going back and forth. Like
Yeah, and it's really interesting. So on paper, Danny looks incredibly favored. He's playing a deck with Karn and Gideon and Elspeth and Jace and Abrupt Decay. So on paper, he looks like he's going to be really good, especially in the mid to late game here. But we saw Joe was able to utilize Tezzerator and Thopter Foundry as a way to kind of push himself ahead and apply pressure to Danny.
Right. Yeah. And also, it didn't help that then he never saw a pernicious deed there. Like, no, that was a card that we thought that maybe would tip over the match on Danny's favor, but he never saw it. So
Yeah, it's obviously pretty unfortunate. That's one of the sideboard cards that I think, besides Pithy Needle, that he would have really wanted. But
right.
without finding, there's not really too much Danny can do. If he drew a 7th land, has card, and gets to exile Tez, maybe that would have been kind of interesting to see.
Or maybe
To see how that game would have turned out.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking if he drew the 7th land like the turn after, he could have exiled the top tier foundry and just leave Joe with a sword and Tezzerator in play. But no, he never saw the 7th land, so then that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're gonna be ready to see. Joe said he couldn't play any worse than that. So now we get to see a Julian versus what is it, Lee J, I think.
That's gonna be pretty fun.
It's gonna be pretty fun. Okay, and I think after that we have Devin and is that Brett? Oh, Brett and Tim. Okay. Oh yeah, Devin has the bye this week, right? Or is it Caleb has a bye? Okay, and then I'm playing Devin in the last match.
Lucky.
Cool.
Caleb Durward, Luck Master.